Welcome to Web Handling. My name is Dave Roisum. In this clip, we begin a series of successful case histories where the source of bagginess was pinpointed and fixed. I want to caution you that I made these teaching examples much easier to understand by presenting only what you need to know, no more and no less. It is a mark of a good teacher and a good troubleshooter to make things look simple. That does not mean that they really are when you are in the middle of it. In the real world, the situation is far messier. There you will find that vital information is difficult to get and even harder to measure, that you have too much data, and that some data is misleading or even incorrect. Add to this difficult customers and bosses, lack of time and money, fix it but don't change anything mentalities, and other pitfalls. Come to my problem-solving class to get an entire toolbox of techniques in how to deal with those real-world challenges. While the primary purpose of this series is to show how to diagnose bagginess, it will be helpful and even necessary to remind my Web 101 students of certain tools that we learned and will need as we go along. The one tool that is always needed for baggy web troubleshooting is the shape tool. In fact, it is also useful for many other web handling and non-web handling problems. Simply stated, the shape of the problem must resemble the shape of the cause. Let us apply this to a problem of baggy edges. The Shape tool says that we have a smile-shaped CD defect histogram, a smile-shaped length profile, and a frown-shaped tension profile. Note that as we discussed in an earlier clip, we must be adept at flipping shapes in our mind. In this first easy warm-up example, the customer is complaining of wrinkling on the edges of the web in the Calendar section. We begin by noting the shape must be a smile or frown, as discussed in the last slide. Therefore, the root cause must be smile or frown shape. We can offer two working theories at this point. The web has baggy edges, or the calendar roll has a smile or frown shape. While the web appears to have baggy or ruffled edges, let us be super careful. Here we will do a strip test using the technique mentioned in a previous clip and detailed in my Web 101 course. The two results are compatible with edge bagginess. 1. The edges are longer. 2. The outer strips when cut out are arced or cambered in web handling language. Now, based on a previous clip where we discussed diameter variations on the roll, upon closer inspection we note that the wound roll indeed has belled edges, also compatible with baggy edges. For details, please refer to my Web 101 winding class notes. So next, we go to the test lab and do some high sample testing. If I recall correctly, we may have taken around 100 basis weight comparisons of edges versus centers, and the edges were indeed heavier. Next, we called the supplier, who confirmed that the edges were indeed heavy. They said, "Of course the edges are heavier. They run better for us that way, and we thought that's how you like them too." So why didn't anyone notice the connection? It is simply because of culture. The customer did not measure basis weight profile. They did not notice that the roll edges were bell-shaped because they were small and hard to see. If anyone ever had noticed, it would quickly become normal, and they would also no longer be able to see. Lastly, the customer asked the wrong question, which was, why does the calendar sometimes wrinkle? As we learned in my problem-solving class, the question to ask is, why does the calendar ever wrinkle? Smile shapes everywhere. Smile shape basis weight, smile-shaped roll edges, smile-shaped length profile, and smile-shaped wrinkling profile. These are all compatible with the most common way of making bagginess and a common way of making wrinkles. Still, I urge extreme caution in jumping to conclusions, even though the data is entirely compatible with the early working theory. This theory cannot be verified until a trial is made with a noticeably more level basis weight profile. It is still possible that the calendar also owns the smile shape and that it is partially or even entirely responsible for the wrinkles on the end. Finally, don't get stuck with whatever cultural habits exist in your plant. Even more important is to avoid questions related to the come-and-go nature of problems. Instead, figure out the mechanics of why this problem would ever happen. Thank you so very much for watching this module in my Plant Practical video series. Stay tuned where we continue our tour of successful Baggy web troubleshooting case histories.